Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video, we are going to take a close look at some upgrades of the PlayStation 2, in particular the MX4SIO. I have reviewed none of those devices on the channel yet and I'm very excited. Because when you're looking at the PlayStation 2, I really love the system even up to today. Because this device is absolutely amazing, had a great library of games, and not even talk about the nostalgia regions that I just want to play on this machine. We've talked about the free Mac booth on this channel a couple of times, because there is a lot of development with this. Yeah, not something like that. Let's do that again. So there is a lot of development here on the channel regarding the free Mac booth. And I must say, like, this device, you can basically like get yourself an original memory card and make it yourself. That is something you need to take consideration, or pay a couple of dollars and just get one. And what do I want to do with it? It's very simple. I just want to unlock my machine and play all kinds of stuff on it. And make this thing even more cooler in 2022. But especially when you're looking at the free Mac booth, we already talked about, let's say, the OPL. You can load stuff from a USB, you can load stuff from an SSD, you can load stuff from a hard drive. There are so many wicked things you can do. But let's talk about the memory card. Because with the MX4SIO, they are going to bring this to the next level. So let's get rid of this thing, because it's going to be freaking awesome. So what are we going to get inside the kit? We're going to get ourselves the free Mac booth special memory card, because here you can already see it says Fortuna for MX4. No, good. But what are we going to get in the kit? The first thing that we're going to get is the free Mac booth for the MX4SIO. So this memory card has been set and everything is ready for you to use. Then we're going to get ourselves the MX4SIO, the memory card, and this card is needed for getting, like say, the XD functionality in your freaking PlayStation 2. Yeah, so that's the only thing that we're going to need. And of course we're going to get inside the kit ourselves the SD card. And also here we're going to get some differences. So let's talk about it first. But with this kit, basically you're ready to go, slap your games on it, and you can just play from an SD card. How freaking cool is that? So let's talk about the memory card first. So basically what we're going to get is a 64 megabyte. Yeah, so we're going to get ourselves the 8, the 16, the 32, 64, and we're also going to get, I think it was a 128 megabyte, but I choose for the 64. So take consideration, like, depending of what kind of configuration, but the applications that are needed are installed on the memory card itself. You can still use this thing as for saving, but I did notice, like, I did had some issues with the 64 gigabyte back in the past with some game that doesn't even recognize the memory card. So there was going to be an issue with this one, but I had it and I just want to point it out. But when it comes to the MX4SIO, they have all kinds of variations. Here you can see we do have like this translucent version or blue translucent, but we also go to get ourselves like an orange translucent. So you do have like a lot of choice if you want to get one. So let's do a quick unboxing of one of those. And I think this looks freaking amazing. So here at the bottom part you can see we're going to have the SD slot. So this thing is already set up. You can also make these things yourself. There are kits out there you can do like with some soldering and make it your own. But this thing is ready for you to go. Okay, so let's talk about the SD cards. So we're going to get ourselves a Class 10 SD card. I have chosen also for the 32 gigabyte, but if you have an option, you can always choose different versions. We do have like the 64 gigabyte, but we also go to get ourselves the 128 gigabyte. But which one should you pick? So I think it's more depending like how many games you want to install on your SD card. To begin with, if you have a 128 gigabyte, I think you're going to like store a lot of games. Take consideration which version you're going to like basically rip and put it here on here, because if you have like a normal version, like a CD version, it's going to be around like 600, maybe a little bit bigger. But when you're having like a DVD version, we can go up to a couple of gigabytes. So if you're going to slap a lot of games on it, and let's say 32 gigabyte will not store a lot of games. So that is something you need to choose for yourself. But how to add games? That is quite simple. We need a card reader or some kind of device that we can basically plug in the SD card. So what we're going to do is plug this bad boy in, and we're going to use ourselves the PC, and we'll plug it in the USB port or our PC. And okay, let's plug it in and let's go. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is get ourselves the image burner program for making an image from our original game. And that's what we need to do. The next thing we don't need is this special program anymore, because we're not using a hard drive, so we don't need like special partition transferring program. Nope, just make an image, and that's the only thing that we need to do. So the thing that we're going to do is grab ourselves the game itself, get yourself a PC with a disk drive, or in this case a DVD drive, and let's plug in the game and let's make ourselves an image file. So with this program, we can do a lot of great stuff, but the only thing that we're going to need is get ourselves a disk image from an original disk. So that's the option we're going to choose. So that's what we're going to do. We need to choose the location. We need to give, of course, the ISO file a name. So in this case, I just use Dead Alive 2, for example. So we're going to give this thing the name called Dead Alive 2. All right, so let's save it over here. And yeah, the only thing I would recommend, like always, like if you want to make an ISO file, is like, don't use the fastest speed, give it some time, and when this file is ready, we are ready to put it on the SD card. Depending on the size and the speed, it can take up a lot of time, but it just didn't quit cut here over there. It's like long live with editing. But here you can see everything is complete. There are no errors whatsoever. So let's close the window. We have saved our file on the PC, and that is what we're going to use now. So this file is going to drag and drop it on the SD card. We don't need this program anymore. There are some other programs you can use. Here we can see like we do have different folders, so everything has been set up. You can drag and drop it into the SD card if you want to. There are some special programs. I will make like an extended tutorial if you want to. So if you want to use like some custom artwork, stuff like that. But again, if you just want to slap it in here, for me it worked out very well. So but here you can see like there are a lot of files preset over here, but that's the stuff that you don't need to do if you don't care about it. You just want to have a list, you want to slap in your files. And just want to show you the file size. This thing has a FAT32, so if you want to get yourself another SD card, just make it FAT32. Get yourself an SD card that is very fast and it works just fine. But how does this new function work? It's super easy peasy lemon squeezy, because what you're going to get is plug in this freaking FreeMac Booth, and that's the only thing. It will unlock your system. You don't need any modifications. Then we're going to get ourselves the MX4SIO. So you plug in this memory card. So we'll put in the SD card upside down. And that's it. You're ready to go and you're ready to play some games. So let's boot up the system. Alright, so when powering on the system itself, then you can see over here we're going to get two LEDs in the MX4SIO unit. Here at the right we're going to see like if it's powered on, so if you want to know it's working, and here at the left you can see that sometimes it's going to start blinking when it's reading data from the SD card. And when the system has been turned on and the FreeMac Booth software is working, or the soft mod itself, you will be greeted by a similar menu like the original one, only we do have like some, let's say, minor differences. But let's take a close look at the FreeMac Booth menu. This is version 1.966, what you can see over there at the right top corner. Then we're going to get yourself like the browser functionality, system configuration, and the U Launch ELF. That's basically if you want to mess around with the memory card internal files. Then we do have like the OPL, and we go to have the OPL version 1.2.0. The difference basically is like this is the old version, and this is something we're going to use when you want to use an USB or a hard drive modification. With this version we're going to need it with the memory card. Then we're going to get the old school HD loader, simple media system, ESMS. Then we're going to get launch disk, code break, USB advance, and here you can see we do have some emulators, so if you want to play some retro games, we can even do that. But that's something we're going to check out in a different video. The FreeMac Booth configuration is over here. I already mentioned we need to have the OPL version 1.2.0, so let's boot it up. It takes like a couple of seconds to boot it up, and at the bottom row we do have the option for an internal hard drive and USB storage and stuff like that. But of course press like the X, because then we're going to boot up the memory card itself. And here we can see like the games that we have added to the memory card from the collection. So basically this is what you're going to get, and if you're going to press a button, you're just going to basically like booting up the system. But there was another thing I just wanted to show you. Pressing triangle will bring you in the special menu. And with the game settings, here we can mess around with the mode. And the reason why, because some of the games will have some minor compatibility issues. It can be like an intro doesn't work at all. So what you can basically do over here is like turn it on and off. There's a big list over there like which game will need to like put on like on and off situation with certain modes. But it's something you need to like take a close look on the internet. But let's take a close look at some games, the loading speeds, and how it all work out. Because I think this SD functionality is one of the best ways to play nowadays, and it has so much potential. Alright, so let's boot up the game and just see what we're going to get with this. Here you can see there were no weird things going on when it comes to, let's say, the background. I did notice like with some, let's say, USB versions, we do have some games that have issues. But again, like it's more like a compatibility issue. And let's just play a quick game, see how it runs and how fast the loading times are. Alright, so let's take a close look at the gameplay. Let's boot it up. And let's take a close look at the loading. And I've noticed, like, depending what kind of game you're playing, like if you're going to play a fighting game, sometimes I'm going to like have like instant loading times. But yeah, let's be honest, like when you're having this drive, some games are very quickly when it loads up. Think about like Tekken 4 that also had like instant loading even with the disc. Alright, so let's play some games because I'm curious how it will run. Okay guys, so let's try another game. In the first try I didn't record it. The thing is, like when I booted up the story mode, I had some issues with the game that it basically just froze. A little bit of bummer, so let's boot it up. I'm going to choose a single race just to see what happens now. Oh, that freaking thing that I can never skip. Oh! I think that's just like a single thing that just happened, because somehow the game seems to be booting up just fine. So that is something you need to take consideration. There can be stuff happening, but let's do a quick gameplay. So when you're looking at the MX4SIO, it's absolutely a really cool way to play your games nowadays. So besides having the USB stick, USB hard drive, or you can use like network or the internal hard drive, it's absolutely crazy how many ways you can play nowadays. And this MX4SIO, in my opinion, I think bringing it just to the next level. The MX4SIO is an absolutely cool way to play. Depending on what kind of PlayStation 2 system you're having, if you're having a fat or a slim. Because if you're having a fat, this would be like a really cool way to play, let's say, a couple of games on an SD card. Well, let's say your favorite ones and play them like this. Take consideration, we have many ways, like a hard drive, you can use an USB, but this is one of the fastest ways so far I know. Later on, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison with loading times. It will be fun to do on the channel, so consider subscribing, hit that later bell, become one of the Wicked family, and it would be great to see you in the next video.